know it. I know it.
Ooh, careful now.
All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order, and Charlie, if you note that all the presidents and commissioners have here. We have minutes were distributed. The minutes from the June meeting were distributed prior to our gathering, and I assume everybody's had a chance to take a look at them. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Do that. So on the minute. Nays? There you go. All right. First item of business is Resolution 1462.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioners, as you know, we're strongly committed to working with our lower income folks, especially when it comes to the availability of broadband services as we roll it out. I'd like to introduce Mark Walker, our Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer, to present to you a resolution for an agreement with Knox County to fund these programs.
Thank you, Gabe. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Today we do present for your consideration a resolution that would authorize KUB to enter into an interlocal cooperation agreement with Knox County for the purpose of the county helping to fund our low-income student internet access program. We did present the agreement to County Commission on this past Monday evening at their work session. Good news is Commission unanimously approved it, and we will be back on their agenda, hopefully their consent agenda, on Monday the 22nd for final approval by Commission. Just as a reminder, when the KUB Board authorized us to begin providing broadband services, the Board also directed staff to establish some type of community low-income internet program, and that has evolved into our student internet access program, which is designed to help low-income student households be able to affordably access KUB's high-speed fiber internet service as it becomes available. The key to making this work is the funding, and we realized that we were going to need funding from both public and private sources. We have addressed the public sources first. You'll recall last year in 2021, the city and KUB entered into an interlocal agreement for the city to provide funding for the student internet access program, and the city did include $300,000 in their budget for the current fiscal year to that means. And so we were very grateful for that. And then we turned our attention over the past several months to working with the county, meeting with the mayor and his staff, meeting with individual county commissioners. They all seemed to offer their support for this, and I think that was reflected in the vote that we had this past Monday evening on that. The goal is to do a launch of this program, probably a pilot phase of the program to begin sometime early in 2023. We're still working through some of the details. We're looking to have CAC be our partner in helping with the application process on this, and a lot of that is still coming together as we speak, but we're looking for some type of launch probably in February of 23. One of the key points that we made to the mayor and his staff and also to the county commissioners in really requesting their financial support of the program is the fact that the county is going to receive a relatively substantial higher amount of in lieu of tax payments from KUB as a result of us providing broadband services. And this chart reflects that. You see some history dating back to 2011 of payments that we have made to Knox County. And then you can see our projections going forward. And the multicolored bar, the green portion of the bar represents the pilot payments that we are projecting if we excluding the broadband component. And the blue segment is the incremental increase in the pilots associated with broadband. Over the 10-year period, over the next 10 years, $20 million in hire pilots to be paid to Knox County. It does gradually increase, as you can see on the chart. It would peak at about a $3 million increase in 2029 and then begin to level out a little bit after that as some of the system assets begin to depreciate that. So that was our really big selling point to the county for this. So the interlocal agreement itself, working to mention some of the key provisions, and really the main one is the annual contributions. The agreement is set up for the county and KUB to work together, but the county will take into consideration several factors. Probably first and foremost would be our projection of what the incremental pilots would be for the applicable fiscal year. We'll also take into consideration the impact of the portion of the rate increases that the board adopted. You'll recall those 3% electric rate increases. About 1% of each of those increases, well, 1/3 of those increases were going to help fund the build out of the fiber network. So we would take that consideration into the impact on their utility bills. So that would sort of be of a net reduction to the pilots. And then we'll also consider just where are we outside of the city? And how many student households are enrolled in the program that are outside of the city but in the county, or how many do we project for that applicable fiscal year as well. So that's really the key provision. It is set up to be a 5-year term with an annual 1-year evergreen clause in that. And so we hope this to be a long-term agreement. It does have a termination provision. Either party can terminate the contract upon 30 days notice. As far as the start date for this, the county does not have anything in their budget for the current fiscal year for this, but it would begin in FY24, just so we're clear on that. And state law does require that an interlocal cooperation agreement between two government entities needs to be approved by the governing bodies of both entities. So hence, we bring it for your approval today, and we'll have final approval by commission hopefully on Monday of next week. And so Resolution 1462 does authorize KUB to enter into the agreement with the county for the purpose of funding the Student Internet Access Program. By adopting the resolution, the board is also approving to all the provisions of the agreement itself and is requesting county commission do likewise and support the agreement and adopt the agreement. And that's really all I have to say. I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Question and comment. First, this is absolutely the right thing to do. When I supported broadband, I would not have supported this without some type of opportunities to support our low-income communities, because the digital divide and digital inequity is real, right? And so this is the right thing to do. And I like the fact that we have a roadmap to follow. EPB in Chattanooga has done something like this similar when they also did municipal broadband. And so we are following their prototype. And so this is not something that we've kind of pulled out of the air. I think this could work and be really successful and really support our kids. So I'm excited to support this resolution. The other thing that I'll say, which is in the form of a question, is how have we engaged Knox County Schools? I know we keep talking about the county commission because of their fiduciary responsibility, but I think operationalizing this is going to be really at the hands of our Knox County school partners. And so how have they been involved in the conversations? Do they know this is coming, and how this
yes.
and how will they work? Because we didn't mention KCS at all.
Yes, we have met with the school system, Dr. Reiswick, and some other school officials on the program. So they are aware that it's coming. They're fully supportive of the program. We're still working as far as potential financial assistance coming out of the county school system budget to be a financial partner in this as well. But yes, they're fully aware and are very supportive of it.
Okay. And as we move forward, they'll help us operationalize this with their students.
Well, they will help identify the students who are eligible. So that's.
Well, if you wanted to say it that way, I wanted to sound smart. They're going to help operationalize that with our students. No, so they will.
They will be involved.
Okay.
Our plan is, I just wanted to add, our plan is to also work really closely with the schools themselves, the local schools, because that's really how you're able to touch point with those students.
Right.
So at this point, we've talked with the officials at the superintendent's office, but have a plan to work directly
With the
in each of the
schools.
schools that we serve.
Right. Because that's where the rubber meets the road, I think.
Thank you. Any other comments, or questions?
You go ahead, Kathy.
Mark, I just was wondering, the city's agreement, is it set to start in the same fiscal year as the county, or is it different?
Started a year earlier.
Okay,
It's in effect this year.
okay. Thanks.
And if on the county side, we sort of purposefully started it in FY '24 because if you just did the math, and plus we'd already passed really the county's budget cycle anyway, the amount of pilots they would be paid would be less than the rate increase impact, so.
Mark, you know my love for math,
Yes, ma'am.
but I don't see an amount in here. How, for budgeting purposes, are we going to account for this? I don't know what the annual contribution is gonna be.
It will, as far as what the required, it's based upon assumptions, but based upon our presumed take rate, by the time we reach full build-out, we're anticipating the funding requirement would be around $6 million for that. And that's what we would need to be able to fund the program.
So how are we going to be able to work it into our broadband budget if we're not sure what the amounts are gonna be from year to year?
All of the funding would be coming from external sources. So we would provide the benefit based upon the funding that we are able to receive from the city, from Knox County, potentially from the school system, or from private funding partners as well. KUB broadband funds are not part of this.
But it is, because we're gonna be providing the service.
Would be providing the service, but as far as the internet being discounted or the internet service being free, that is contingent upon the funding levels that we're able to receive from the city, the county, and other funding partners.
So we wouldn't hook somebody up until we knew how they were.
We would not, we're not just gonna blindly enroll people in the program. It's gonna have to be based in part, or in large part, on the funding levels that we have secured.
So if I'm a mom that wants my child to participate in this program, and I look at my schedule and see that, there's an internet fee of, let's say, $20 a month, there's no way that I can know as the consumer that my $20 is gonna get covered through this program. Would that be right?
I think what we would be looking at as we're enrolling customers and working, CAC, I think is going to be our partner in this. It's going to be sort of a year-by-year thing, but we'll look at, okay, what funding levels do we have in place? And if we don't believe that, we can, say we have 500 students enrolled, and that's really all our funding levels provide for, we would not be enrolling additional student households into the program. It's going to be sort of that.
So what happens potentially in year two if they have broadband internet student, low-income student in 2024, and then 2025 potentially the funding isn't there? Does that mean they're just going to lose their internet access that second year if the funding isn't there?
They would not lose their internet access, but they would have to pay for it.
Right.
Yes, sir. This
Which
program only goes as far as
It makes
the
it incumbent
funding
on
is the key.
the city, the county, and all of us to be finding private sources
That's
to
right.
support this.
That's right.
And I think we will have to work out, is that something we work with Knox Education Foundation on? Is that something that we work with East Tennessee Foundation on? Is that, and who actually does that?
That is part of the process.
Right.
Once we got the public secured, then we turn our attention to finding private funding partners. Because that's going to
So eventually,
be a big part of it.
is there a way for that to be consistent? So if we have, we get private funding, And then hopefully at some point, we would be able to maintain, I don't know what that would be, but a way for that to be consistent, I guess is what I'm thinking, because to his point, you know, if there's no funding for it one year and then the next year, it would be, would not be achieving what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and to answer that question, the user was still again from the Chattanooga EPB model. They went and got public and then went and got private, and they've guaranteed now 10 years of funding and they're serving almost 10,000 households down there.
Yeah, I think that
figured that out,
the deal there was is what you're all pointing at is the sustainable, predictable level of funding. What we've identified is honestly the city and county funds as that sustainable, predictable level of funding. It just doesn't kick in until years 3, 4, 5, 6 of our build out. So the grow in of this will be a little palatable, a little uncertain. In that regard, EPB had already built their network. That was the key there too. Their private and public funds came from the ARPA funds and just came at one shot. And so again, this is, fledgling fiber business, fledgling support of low income. We're gonna make this happen, but we are definitely growing into this business. And I think Mark said it on one of the slides. Funding's key as we're talking about now. So that's why it'll be in a pilot phase so we don't overcommit. We don't pull the rug out from under some of our students that we've made a commitment to. But at the same point in time, there's work to be done, especially on the funding side.
Yes, we would love for the funding to be consistent across time, but it's going to be a conversation with the city and county each spring as part of their budgeting process, the amount that they'll be able to contribute.
And the strategy on funding too is to get the underpinning and support and kind of gain momentum, getting the city and county in line. We've had other talks. A few of us have met with Matt Ryerson at United Way. We've got other foundations kind of lined up, but again, it was kind of first things first, getting these two agreements in place. Hopefully having some funds pledged through budgetary cycles. Again, the city did. So we're just, as we get those funds, we're going to be able to serve in that particular regard.
So with city county funds, first of all, I think it's important for us to really solidify the funding. So I would love to get to a point where we can do at least a 10-year out like EPB. I know that we're in a different position, but that really does scare me in some respects in terms of not having it discounted one year, then the next year saying, hey, you got to pay $60, $70, $80, whatever that might be. And so I would want us to really work diligently to get us to a point where we don't have to do that, but that we have the standard funding. With the commitment of the city and the county, which is annual commitment, right? If they were to do their full asked annual commitment, how many students will be able to serve with just the city, the county funds with no additional support for private sectors? Like, what is that baseline that we'll always have as long as the city and the county and the schools keeps coming?
I was going to say, if the city and county, say they followed the funding formula we sort of suggested,
right,
where you have the pilots, unless the impact of the rate increases, that still does leave a funding gap that would need to be addressed by private sources.
In year 7 of the full build-out, we are very, very close to fully funded if they contribute all their incremental pilots.
Mm-hmm.
But that is in year 7. And we get ACP, which is that Affordable Connectivity Program stipend of $30 a month. That reduces our burden then for the households, and we think we can reach 10,000 households.
So by year
8.
Okay, by year 8, 10,000 households.
And
That's if everything went as planned with a lot of assumptions.
Yes. And that is a key component. I didn't mention, Michelle just touched upon it, the Affordable Connectivity Program, the federal program that provides a $30 stipend monthly for eligible low-income households. And as CAC helps our student households enroll in the program, they would also be helping them enroll in the ACP program as well. So, and that's a $30 benefit monthly.
So with the county and city support right now, you said the city is already supported with the city's funds, and we know the county will say yes, fingers crossed. Initially, out of the gate, how many students, based on that funding, will we be able to support when we roll out next year?
I think it'd be 500.
500?
500.
Okay. You may have said that.
Based on the $300,000, yes.
300K. Okay.
Is CAC staffed to handle all of these projects that it seems like we're mentioning them as our partners in.
Tiffany, you could probably speak to that better than I could.
That's a great question, and that's why we're working with them now so that they're prepared for next year when we're ready for this program. Many of the programs, as we try to roll them out with them, we talk about staffing and try to support their staffing needs as we're developing those programs. So I would say today their staff may not be able to, but the plan as we bring on new programs is to ensure staffing is available for each of the programs that we ask them to support us with.
Good question.
Other questions? Comments? Okay.
Well, I do have one other comment. As we think about rolling out this and other initiatives, and I know that CAC has been a longtime partner, I would encourage us to identify maybe other organizations that could do this work and support us so that we have a plethora of organizations. So if there might be a hiccup here, then we can easily pivot to other organizations. And so I would say, let's think about how we could do that at a broader level and have multiple partners that we can go to support our work.
Because we have a lot of
particularly as we think about
programs.
community.
Yes.
What did you say, Mark? I'm sorry.
Because we have a lot of programs.
Yeah.
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 Other comments, questions? I'll entertain a motion to vote on Resolution 1462 on first and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
Is there anyone from the public who signed up to speak on this? Okay. Mr. Coley, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Askew.
Aye.
Commissioner Feinbaum. Aye. Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
Commissioner Herbert.
Aye.
Commissioner Simpson-Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Small.
Aye.
Resolution 1462 is passed.
Good. Thank you. Let's move on to 1463. Bowles?
My microphone on. Commissioners, I'd like to recognize Anna Hothcock. She's one of our analysts in our Rates and Analytical Services Department. She'll be giving you an update on a new EV rate, charging rate, that TVA is rolled out, and we will have her give you the details for approval.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I have some good news for you today. TVA has recently offered a new rate option for our electric vehicle charging rate that is simpler and more flexible for our customers. So I'm here to talk a little bit about what the changes to our KUB retail rate would be to modify for that change. So you guys might remember that last year in February we came to you with a resolution to adopt a electric vehicle charging rate schedule. And this applies to separately metered public charging, like large fast charging EV stations. And we as KUB were the first local power company in the valley to offer the EVC rate. And that was effective April 1st of 2021. And like I said before, TVA has recently modified its EVC rate, making it simpler and more flexible for our customers. So the customers will see minimal impacts on their bill. The main change is that the energy charge will vary for on and off peak time periods, but it is designed to be revenue neutral, so the customer will not see much change on their bill. There's no change in KUB margin, and also certain charges that are usually associated with larger loads and larger customers will no longer apply to these customers. So I have in front of you Resolution 1463 on first reading that replaces the existing electric vehicle charging rate schedule and amends the purchase power adjustment to reflect a new value for the EVC rate. We will be back to you in September for second reading, and if approved, it would be effective October 1st. So, do you have any questions?
If you could go back to the
Yes.
previous slide. So in order for it to be revenue neutral, we're encouraging them to charge off-peak by reducing that rate and raising the on-peak hours. How does that get communicated to individuals?
So it would be through their rate schedule, and these customers are with our key account reps, so
Okay.
they'd be able to communicate with them
Okay,
about this.
thank you.
That's an important point. This,
Yeah.
and when I talked about this yesterday with Gabe, this is not for everybody, all the residents.
Yeah.
This is, we'll be charging this to commercial customers.
Yes, commercial customers, yeah. Public charging stations. Yeah.
Right. Other questions or comments? Okay, I'll request a motion and a second on Resolution 1463 on first reading.
So moved.
Moved by Hamilton. Second by Monroe. All right, are there any members of the public who want to speak on this? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Coley?
Commissioner Askew.
Aye.
Commissioner Feinbaum. Aye. Mr. Hamilton.
Aye.
Mr. Herbert.
Aye.
Mr. Simpson Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Small.
Aye.
Resolution 1463 passed first reading.
Very good. All right. On to the President's report.
Yes, thank you,
Bowles?
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. I want to thank you, first of all, for your involvement and support for teamwork. You know, it's a program we've been in place now 27 years, and we're really proud of it. I want to introduce Leslie Hartzell, our Director of Community Relations, to give you an update on this last class, our largest class of 2022. So, Leslie?
Thank you, Mr. Bolus. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Like Mr. Bolus said, I want to give you a brief update on some program enhancements that we have made to the program. But before I go into the enhancements, I just want to give a brief overview of the program and the intent of the program. The Teamwork Program is a career readiness program that started in 1995 as a partnership between KUB and Austin East Magnet High School. One of the main goals of the program is to educate students about career opportunities at KUB, but also equip the students with career readiness workplace skills so that when they complete the program, they're prepared to kind of enter the workforce. The students go through a series of classroom sessions. We do community service activities with them, and then at the completion of those, they have the opportunity to interview for a summer internship with us. I'm excited to say that since the program started in 1995, we've had nearly 490 students to complete the program, and we're looking forward to continuing to see that number grow. You might recall, about this time last year, Trina Gorman was in front of you, and she talked about some of the things that we wanted to do to enhance that program, or enhance the program. 2022 has been a great year. We got off to a great start, and one of the first things we did, we started, and we was only at Austin East, we expanded that. We added Fulton High School and Central High School to the program. In the past, the program used to be a weekly session, and we would go over to Austin East. We moved those sessions to Saturday sessions this year so that we could better accommodate the student schedules and also streamline our speaker schedules as well. One of the highlights of the program was the Community Leader Spotlights. And what we did with this, we brought in a variety of community leaders to come in, and so the students had an opportunity to engage and be exposed to some of our community leaders that they might not otherwise have the opportunity. So some examples of that, they had a chance to have lunch with the mayors. So both Mayor Kincannon and Mayor Jacobs came in and did lunch with them, and they had a question and answer session with them, as well as we brought in nonprofit organizers and leaders of those organizations, and we had just some general business professionals to come in. And the students really enjoyed that component because they got a chance to just do question and answer with people who are making the decisions about their communities and having an impact. With the increase in the number of students and the number of schools, lended itself to us increasing and onboarding new business partners. So I'm excited to say that we had 3 new business partners join us. We had Knox County Government, we had West Utility District, West Knox Utility District, and First Utility District. And then the Chamber, who has been a longstanding partner of the program, they continue to support the program. As you heard Gabe say, the class of 22 was the largest class in its program history. We started with 34 students. And we had 26 students who successfully completed the program, and that means that they went through all the classroom sessions and completed the summer work experience. We had 16 of those students that worked here with us at KUB, and then the remaining students worked at our business partners. The students, the goal is not only to give the students real world experience, but we wanted to give them real work experience. So I want to kind of touch on just a couple of projects. I can't share all 26 with you all, but I wanted to share what these students are doing when they're working with us for the summer. So the picture to the right, we had a student that was working in our electric system engineering area, and alongside his mentor, he had the opportunity to design a pole replacement project. And so at the top photo, you see the design that he worked on, and then he had a chance to go out in the field to actually see the finished product. So that's what you see at the bottom of the screen. We had a student that going through the interview process said, I want to learn about GIS. And so we were able to pair her with a mentor, and she got a chance to learn about our GIS system. So what you see in that top right corner is a map where she took a regular map and she learned how to turn it into a 3D density forestry map. So these students are doing things that I don't know how to do. And then the bottom right screen is, of course, is fiber, which you all are well aware. We're talking about fiber being our newest division. And we had a student by the name of James who went through the program. And when James interviewed, he said he really didn't know what he wanted to do. And so he said, I like working with my hands, and I don't want to necessarily be at a desk. So we was able to pair him with Eric in our fiber division. And the principal called me the second day of school when school started back. And James had went to him and told him about his experience that he had this summer. And James is wanting to pursue a career in the fiber. So hopefully he will be one of our returning students. So we're very proud and excited about that. And then in the middle, I saved it for last, is the Teamwork newsletter. And you all have a copy of it in your notebooks as well. But the student who works in communications and community relations, this is one of their primary projects. And this is one of our biggest tools that we use to stay engaged with our Teamwork alumni. And so the current class receives this document, and then we mail it out to all of our former Teamwork students that we have good contact information on. One of the program goals is hopefully for us to build a pipeline of potential employees. And the only way we can do that is if we stay connected with these students and stay engaged. Like I said, we want to continue to focus on the future and employment. The program is only as successful as that student's summer experience. And so you've heard me say, or in the past, that we've got a good mentor makes a good program. Mentors are the key to the success of this program, and so we're continuing to build upon our mentors and growing them. And one of the new things that we did this year with our mentors, we had the mentors and the students take a personality test called True Colors. And so it was neat to hear students going around saying, I'm a blue, I'm a green, or whatever. But we utilized that tool to help us better pair students with the mentors, to help them better understand work styles, personality styles, and all of that. We're continuing to engage or provide opportunities for our students to interact with our management and senior staff. That was one of the things that the students told us. They want to be connected to the whole organization. So we continue to have manager roundtable discussions where students get to have an opportunity to have that one-on-one kind of question and answer with our managers. And something new that we incorporated this year was the senior staff social. And it was a hit, I think, both for the students and for our senior staff. It was just an opportunity for the students to come and have some treats, some ice cream, kind of go through some icebreaker activities and participate in some getting to know you things. So I think what it taught us all is that we were young once, but it let the students see that people in leadership positions are human, just like they are. We all go through the same things, and that we had more in common than not. And so we're hoping to continue to build on that experience as well. The document you see in the right corner, when the students left this year, we want to continue to remain in contact. And so we developed this document, and it kind of gives the students what they need to do. We don't want to just stop being connected to them once they complete their junior year and do the teamwork program. So it tells them what they need to do to stay connected with us throughout their senior year. And then it also talks about if they choose to go off to college or to a skilled trade school, how they can stay connected to us and come back as a student and what that process looks like. Or if they're, graduating from high school and want to go straight into the workforce, we're telling them what they need to do and how to continue to reach out to us to be able to help us build that pipeline as well. Additional thing, you might recall last year we talked about rolling out the teamwork internship. And what we're doing with this program, we're trying to identify some of our top performers. And once that student completes a first year of college, they have an opportunity to come back for us and work during the summer. And after they complete their summer experience, we're giving them a stipend to help them with their educational pursuits. And so pictured you see is Noelle DeGenny. Noelle worked in our communications and community relations department. She's just left last week and is starting her sophomore year at Tennessee Tech. She is a ball of fire, but very sharp. She's a sharp girl, and so we want to continue to engage with her and with the hopes that she'll want to come back again next year, next summer. But we also want to utilize this as a tool to be able to help them while they pursue their higher ed opportunities. And last but not least, I wanted to share a little bit about what we're hearing about the program. We think the program, or I think the program, I can honestly say we think the program is a great program. I want it to be a model for Knox County schools in providing students an opportunity to translate what they're learning into the work, in the classroom to the workplace. And so I want to share a couple of quotes that we received from people. You might remember the photo that I showed, the class photo. That we posted that on social media, and the top left quote is from a former teamwork student. He was a member of the class of 2012, and he saw that post. He lives in Nashville, and he immediately talked about how the program impacted him. And so it was nice to see somebody that's gone through the program in a leadership position now, and to see what he had to say about the program and how he's utilizing the tools. Anaya was the person who wrote and designed this newsletter. She was in our communications and community relations department. Here's a quote from her about her experience. And then Mr. Baldwin is the assistant principal at Central High School. And with this being their first year, he really didn't know what to expect. But he said the students that went through the program was lined up at his office door when school opened back up, ready to talk about the program. And we're going to be over at Central this afternoon, and they've already called me and said, hey, what can I do to help spread the word? So we're feeling like we're having a good impact with our students and want to build on those relationships. And then last but not least, you see a quote from one of our business partners who was new to the program this year, but very active and engaged in a program, and you can see how it has impacted them in their organization. I want to close with saying I thank you all for your support of the program. We couldn't do this without your support, and we want to continue to grow this program and make it bigger and better. And so we look forward to coming back, sharing more exciting news in the future. And at this time, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Do we have a feel for how many of the people who were in the program in high school eventually became full-time employees?
Yes. Currently, we have 11 full-time employees here at KUB. That number has fluctuated. Some has gone on. We've had more, but it fluctuates. But we have 11 here now that are full-time employees. We do have 4 students. So we have two that are going the college path. We have one that is at UT. He's working in our ISD department, and then we have another student that's attending Pellissippi State, and she's working in our overhead construction department. And then we have two that went through last year's program that are doing the skills trade track. And so they'll be starting TCAT in September, and one is working in our transportation department, and the other is working in our system operations division.
Fantastic. Good.
Thank you.
I luckily have participated in a number of these sessions since I've been a commissioner, and I really applaud KUB for making this commitment many years ago and following through with a commitment like this, because you can see from encountering these students in a beginning session and then coming to the program at the end of their summer, what progress they've made. If we don't do anything else, I think that we supporting these young people and the time that these mentors are taking. I really applaud every single person that has served as a mentor, because they are devoting a part of their day to educating somebody, and it's tough. I've had law students and paralegals that have worked for me, and the first thing that I say when somebody comes is, well, it takes a lot of time for me to do this, but fast forward, I know there's somebody that I mentored that's working at the Civil Service Merit Board, so you tend to reap those seeds that you've sown later on. So Leslie, I know your team does a great job, but from every single mentor, those young people at that last session, they all talked about their mentors, and so that's that student's vision into the work world. So kudos to everybody that participated.
Yeah, I just want to comment on the insight that you had to do the True Colors assessment, because I think that makes a difference in the pairing of mentors with the teens. It makes a huge difference, and I can speak to it because we've done that before. I'm a gold. Surprise. There you go. But that I think that doing that and having the insight to that, that speaks volume to the success, and also to thinking about how you can improve it so that it strengthens and can spread further. So I applaud you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
The only thing I'd like to say is I'm thrilled that we have made a long-term commitment to this particularly in our under-resourced schools and communities. People come in and out of those places, and they stay until they start feeling a little better about themselves, and then they leave. And so the fact that we are there and we're going to be there for a long time builds trust and gives them a resource that they can look forward to and promise their students will be there. So good for you.
Thank you.
Sir?
Commissioners, well, thank you all for those words. I appreciate that, and I agree. Leslie and her team we keep taking it to the next level, and I keep encouraging her, but she just keeps moving it forward, and I really appreciate her efforts and the team's efforts on this. And I want to recognize Tanisha in the back for being helpful. She's new to us, but she's been a big part of this growth also. So thank you, Tanisha. Commissioner, switching gears, we are building fiber quite quickly right now. We are, putting all those backbones in, the wires, the huts, the electronics. And so we're getting really close to start rolling out programs and offerings. And so I want to introduce Michelle Wilson, our manager of fiber products and business support, to give you an update on the products and programs we're going to be doing here shortly. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Mr. Bolus. And good afternoon, Commissioners. It has been a busy, busy year. We have plowed a lot of ground over the past year. I know you've heard Mr. Davis keep you up to date over time, and I'm here today to share some exciting news about some accomplishments that we've made. I will start with a project that was near and dear to my heart, which is bringing our billing and customer system online. We started that project in earnest in November and brought it online July the 1st. That was like the speed of light, so to speak, since we're talking about fiber. And we're using that system daily, both in our customer contact center billing areas and also in our technical areas as we provision service to some customers. Our customer contact center is staffed. They are taking calls every day. I was just down there this morning watching the call volume, and that's an exciting time to see us take our first fiber calls as an organization. The technical team had a landmark moment in late June as we connected our first fiber customer. Tanisha Baker is here, I believe. She was our guinea pig, and we connected her service on June 29th and then began a pilot deployment in our Mohawk service area east of downtown. And I can say that we have 130 customers connected as of this morning when I looked at the dashboard, receiving KUB internet service. So congratulations to the technical team for their work. We continue as a wider team to learn every day and improve our process and make sure that we're sharpening our pencil for the customer and making that experience better. We still have some final technical delivery steps for TV and phone. As you can imagine, that's quite extensive. We have a lot of partners. We have a lot of technology to work through, but hope to pilot those two products soon. Our marketing group is tipping their toe into outreach and developing some product launch strategies. The picture you see is outside of one of our test homes. It is our yard the yard sign. Sorry, that simple term escaped me. But the exciting thing about that is it's generating some buzz. We're getting people talking about our product, and we're beginning to answer the question, what is KUB fiber? I'm here today to talk to you about our initial product offering, where those are the options for our customers, and take you through the specifics of those, their descriptions, their pricing, and give you an opportunity to ask questions about those. So the cornerstone of our product suite is our entry-level 1 gigabit symmetrical product. We have named that the Gig. You can thank Jay Miller, who's the manager of marketing, for that title. The Gig positions the customer to do anything they want to do in the home with their internet. We know that households, the average household has more than a dozen devices working on their Wi-Fi at any one time, and that is going to grow. The Gig positions them to grow as their technology needs to grow. The fiber technology provides robust video conferencing, streaming, eliminates lag and buffering. I heard a comment about their image was crisper on their monitor. It allows for downloading a movie in less than a minute. My son has competitive online gaming as one of his interests, and I'm hearing that the Gig is going to give him an advantage for that, so he's very excited. But truly, we are offering the fastest technology in our introductory level price at a very competitive price in the marketplace, just at the Gig. Now, we do have some other products for that residential internet. The Gig 2.5 and Gig 10 have some additional capacity and technical features. So that's for people who want to upload or download large data files or images. But it also could be somebody that wants bragging rights to say they have fastest internet in their home. And that we have heard that is true in the Chattanooga area as well. They want to get that 2.5 gig service. So for those customers that want a worry-free white glove experience, we are offering an optional Smart Gig at Home service for $15 a month. And that comes with some enhanced technical service from our tech support group, but also gives that customer a portal into how to manage their Wi-Fi in their home at a device level. I'll tell you that product has been very, very popular in our test pilot. 75% of customers that we are piloting to have chosen to use this product as well. They receive some Wi-Fi enabling equipment throughout their home that they don't have to invest on the front end, that is compatible with their 1 gig speed that they're getting through our internet product. So this is the first look at the Kub5 Reveal. You can see that we delivered. Oh, sorry.
Can you go back to that slide, the previous slide?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
What is that? Like, what does it do? What is it good for?
Okay.
Like,
So Smart Gig at Home, $15 a month, you get a router that is 1 gigabit symmetrical router, so you don't have to invest in a router
have to pay for it,
yourself.
okay.
You also get some enhanced technical service that we can support because the software used with that router comes with a customer app.
Okay.
And so they then on their mobile device or on their computer can manage their devices to understand connectivity.
Okay.
Then also we can provide additional support to them because we also are familiar with that software.
Okay, gotcha.
Does that help?
I know I wasn't the only one thinking, what is this?
Just gonna wait till the end.
You can see on there that literally, like, how many times do you want to know what's connected on your device? If you want ever to pause your network and kind of kill it, through that app, you have that connectivity that you see on the right there.
Gotcha.
So this is the first look at the KUB fiber bill. We've delivered on what we promised, a $65 bill. Your first bill, you can see that on the left side, we've made it easy for that customer to understand what their amount due is, their billing date, and their payment due date. For this particular customer, they are in cycle 4, and the first date of their billing date is August the 4th. Their bill will be due about mid-cycle, about 14 to 15 days later, and they're billed on the same date each month, and their payment is due the same date each month.
No, we're not.
That was for you, Commissioner Herbert.
That's
Heard-
only
we-
the
we
fiber
heard you,
part.
Soleil. We
You're
heard
not
you.
gonna get you're not gonna get the power stuff.
So while we were in our the process of gauging what customers wanted, we heard from many of them that they were confused with very long and confusing bills from other providers. So we assembled a team that took special care in making sure that we could provide those service details, which is page 2 of the bill, that describes for them the product they are subscribing to, a brief description, and the individual pricing there. But I can tell you, regardless of what they select, that page is the bill is no longer than 2 pages. You'll see on this bill that there's no taxes and fees. I can tell you this is the only product that we have with no taxes and fees. Internet service by state law is not taxable. Any other service you add on top of that, including phone, TV, and our managed, our Smart Gig at Home or business products, they are taxable. And you can imagine what that looks like. So it is extensive. We've worked hard to make sure that we can provide clarity to the customer about what taxes they are paying, but they are federal, state, and local taxes that will be represented on that bill. We're also working hard to make sure that when the customer places their order, whether that's via their online web experience or talking to a call center rep, we're able to tell them to the penny what their bill will be each month. And we're successful that with the implementation of our software. I'm very proud of that we can tell them exactly what they should expect when they open their bill the very first month and any month thereafter. So I'm going to go on to the second part of our triple play option. Let me introduce Kub TV. So this is not your traditional TV delivery platform. We do not have set-top boxes. It is truly streaming using our Kub Internet product. So if you are a Kub Internet customer, you have the option to purchase TV packaging from us. It has similar features like any other provider with DVR and then playback, similar features. It's just a little bit different delivery tool. So we've partnered with My Bundle TV to answer the question for most consumers if they're interested in streaming. Maybe they don't want a traditional TV packaged service. Maybe they want to stream on their own. My Bundle will take them through that process based on their priorities, but also their budget. And KUB's TV packages are part of that evaluation process. These are our 3 initial TV packages, bronze, silver, and gold. We're going to go through each of those today, and you do have a channel lineup in your notebook. I apologize for the very small print on that, but we're going to talk about those today. We're also going to have optional additional features, Spanish language, and also premium channels, which you're familiar with, HBO, Showtime, NFL Red Zone. But regardless of which package you choose, you're provided 6 concurrent streams, meaning you can have 6 devices using that TV service at any one time. And then you also get the TV Anywhere mobile app. So there's specialty apps like ESPN that provide special content if you also subscribe to their television service. So the bronze package is meant for the streamer who wants some local news or local sports coverage. At $43 a month, we're providing all the major networks, home shopping, Weather Channel, and their local broadcasting like the CW, and like WBIR has 3 different local channels. Community television is included in the bronze package. As with all our TV packages, you can upgrade or downgrade at any time without penalty. Our silver package is our probably most popular package. It eliminates the need for streaming, or it's for the household that maybe wants to do minimal streaming. It's households like mine where sports and family programming are important. You get 69 additional channels with silver than you do with bronze, but you get all the bronze channels with it, and that's $120 a month. I was in a meeting day before yesterday with Deanna Unger, who is our manager of human resources, and she pulled me to the side and she said, "Hey, YouTube TV has just dropped the tennis channel. Will KUB TV have the tennis channel?" And I was very excited to tell her, "Yes, Deanna, that is channel 44. So happy that we're able to deliver some very commonly viewed channels in our silver package, and that is our mid-range. Now for the all-in TV watcher like my father, who likes to watch expanded sports channels, or maybe the home entertainer that likes to listen to Stingray music on their TV while they're cooking dinner, the gold package is just $10 more. It gives you a little bit expanded programming.
So it's $130.
That's $130, yes. So the final piece of our triple play is our phone package. It is for $35 a month. You get unlimited long distance in the continental United States and standard call features like call waiting, voicemail, and caller ID. We are going to allow you to port your number, which means your existing number, we will ask your current carrier to release that number to us, and we will provide that as part of KUB Phone. Just like TV, it's an optional service that you can pick. It does require you to be a KUB Internet customer, and we're yielding that or providing that phone service voice over Internet protocol. So the porting aspect is very, very important. When I sat down my parents who are in their mid-70s and first asked them about KUB Internet and how excited I was about bringing that to them, my mother very quickly asked me if she could keep her phone number and her email address. And so I was glad to tell her, "Yes, Mother, you can keep your phone number and email address. We're going to make that easy for you." I tell you that story because that's really the reason we need to provide these products, is we want to make it easy for families like theirs who want to get all 3 products from one provider. KUB's Triple Play makes that option possible. For those that want a little extra security, we are providing a battery backup option. What that does is powers that device that we're going to install in the home for 24 hours in case of intermittent power outage. So if they do want that home telephone line, they can place a telephone call. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit, and I'm going to talk to you about our pilot deployment. I mentioned earlier.
Could I ask a question?
Oh.
I don't know how much flexibility we have in here, but I don't know how to say this, so I'm just going to say it. If we could be culturally sensitive to the packages, I noticed that BET, for example, and Telemundo, you have to be in the silver package to be able to get that. So could we, to the degree we have any flexibility, could we make sure that there might be that starting package? We might have
so we do have a Spanish language package for $5 that they can add to bronze. That will help satisfy some of that. With TV, I have found a lot of things, and Commissioner Feinbaum can probably well educate us on that. But I have found that those contracts are something else. They really constrict you to channel placement, what package is, and also saturation.
It's hard to, it's actually not hard, it's impossible to move something up a package.
Well, I'm just trying to, I'm trying to be, one of our core values,
It-
is to try to be sensitive.
Chair asked you if we could have designed it the way we want to design it. It might not have looked like this,
I
but
would think that would be.
very consistent with other providers, and there's a reason why. It's not they want to be unique. It's because some power that be will say this is where that channel
All right.
goes. Yeah.
That's good. Fair enough. Thank you for being honest.
If you have a Comcast internet address.
Email address, uh-huh.
Will you have to change that?
No, you can keep it.
Is Comcast gonna let you do that?
They have to.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
and will there be like a special KUB, remote control, like the
No,
Comcast
you will
ones?
use a streaming device or smart TV. I was remiss in mentioning that. So if you have an Amazon Fire Stick or a Apple,
have no
we're
idea
going to
what
send Andrew Himalaski, who is the director of fiber operations, to
I
assist
try to
you
keep
that. But
fire
we're
sticks
actually,
out of my house.
we're actually going to resell the Amazon Fire Stick to make that easy for customers who don't have one in the home to enable that TV. Or you can have a smart TV. And that's part, that is a great segue into this because I'm going to talk about that home installation process and our burden to help the customer get that connectivity with all their devices. Yes?
So, so you will have to have buy another device for what level? For any level? So bronze, silver, and gold.
So
So what if I just have a regular old flat screen TV and I don't know if it's smart or not, or
So if it is not a smart enabled television, my understanding is yes, you will need a streaming device like an Amazon Fire Stick, Google Chromecast, or Apple TV device to stream that content. Now, I can tell you that's very affordable. The Amazon Fire Stick, I think the latest price I saw was around the $30 price mark. And we will sell those, but you can also get those widely at many retail outlets.
okay.
And really, to highlight a difference there too, if existing providers, you don't even have that option to buy in order to watch their TV product, you pay every month forever
For that.
for that. So from a payback perspective, 1 or 2 rental months will pay for the device there. So you would have to retrofit every TV in your home that you want to do that with, but that payback actually is pretty quick when you look at the rental prices from other providers.
Would that then get rid of the need for a box?
That is correct.
Okay, so it's the box fee.
That is
box
correct.
fee.
The good news is no box, and you own your box now. And if you choose not to use KUB TV, you can stream YouTube TV, Hulu, Netflix, you name it. It really is just that brain that kind of enables your TV to be a smart TV. I don't have any smart TVs either, but most TVs that you buy nowadays have that even built in that particular regard. So again, to Michelle's point, if somebody has a device that they prefer, we'll work with them. But if we show up on site and they say, we don't have anything, that we will sell them an Amazon Fire Stick.
Okay. Because I have 4 boxes at $4 a month time the last 10 years.
Yeah, and
You've paid for a lot of Fire Sticks.
And so what I didn't mention when we were looking at the bill a minute ago is there are no additional equipment fees, promotional items, things that we are truly out the door. What we put in our product catalog, that is your all-in price for TV. There are no additional regional sports fees.
Okay.
You'll start looking at your bills now when you go home and look at that. Those will not exist with a KUB TV product.
I didn't notice on the prior slides, but is there DVR part of this as well?
Yes,
Okay.
100 hours guaranteed with any product.
And
you
can
get
you talk
more?
to it? Can you talk? Do you have a microphone button?
Yeah. You can purchase 100 more hours of DVR capacity.
And answer your question, Jerry, all the Fire Sticks do that, so that's what I have. I just say
Yeah.
whatever I want to watch and it just pops up on the screen. It's pretty slick once you learn it. It's amazing. Yeah.
And we'll have a branded app on the Google Play and the Apple App Store that will be KUB TV branded. It'll be very prominent, and that's what you'll download to get the process started for television. Okay, so our pilot phase. I mentioned that we began in July with our pilot deployment in East Knoxville, close to downtown. That was an exciting couple of days. I can tell you we've learned a whole lot. We met daily, multiple times a day, to make sure that we were taking customer feedback and adjusting our approach and methods, making sure we were sharpening our technical delivery and customer approach to that. We do have 130 customers connected today to KUB Internet, and we'll continue to grow that later this month. I think we're doing 12. We did 12 installs on Monday and Tuesday, and have 11 or 12 scheduled today as well. So it's a daily occurrence, bringing them on.
Michelle, how are we letting people know, how if I am now eligible, how would I know?
Perfect. So we are sending a
And
postcard.
am I eligible?
Yeah. So right now, I only have 3,500 people eligible, and that is truly in that Mohawk service area. Our marketing department is sending emails and postcards, a very non-invasive, hey, if you want to be a test customer, here's what you can do. And so to be a test customer, they would receive a call to action in some of that communication that says, call us or fill out this web form, and we will contact you and talk you through our product lineup. Well, then, if you're interested, we will schedule you an installation appointment. So they'll go through installation, and then they'll start receiving gig service. 75% have chosen that smart gig at home as well. And then they're going to give us feedback. So post-installation, we call them. And then we do surveys every Friday to get feedback from them. And I can tell you that feedback has been very, very positive so far, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit.
Also, I think it might be helpful if maybe on a monthly basis, we can get a report of how many new signups are happening. That'd be great.
Yes.
Just so we can we can track the success of this based on the investment
Yeah.
that KUB is making.
Yes, that's a great idea.
And the churn as well would be helpful.
Churn, yes. Yeah, that was a term that I had recently learned
Oh, yeah.
how to track and what that means
That
and
means
how
people who
important it is.
cancel
Yes.
and people who cancel and don't come back. Yeah.
Okay, so Commissioner Small, to your point, how will they hear about us? Our KUB.org website will list a very robust shopping experience, and that is going to have an availability finder tool on it by address, where you'll key in your address and know if you're available and when you might become available. It'll list each product line, their pricing, and a brief description, and then give you an option about how you want to interact with us. You can either continue that order process online using a order capture process all the way through scheduling your installation appointment. Or as an alternate, you can call our fiber contact center and have a person-to-person experience via the phone to ask those same questions. You know, as we've talked about before, and you've heard Mr. Davis say, you know, we're going to be rolling this out by area, a little bit at a time, not all at one time. So right now we're just in Mohawk, but we hope to be in our Arlington service area in the next few months and expanding that pool of customers very, very quickly. Oh, this is important. So we heard through the discovery process that customers really have a need for proactive communication in the telecom space. So we have enabled text messaging and also proactive emails to confirm, yes, you placed your order, thank you, here's what your order was. Here's your appointment installation reminder. Here's your payment, here's your bill, hey, to do that. And they get to choose which delivery method that they prefer. We're testing that daily. I'm monitoring it personally daily to make sure that they get the messages that we expected them to get during this pilot phase.
But it's not on our app.
No, it will not be on the KUB app yet.
Okay, because I just logged in because I thought, oh, maybe I can find that on the app.
It is not on the app, but we are working on that, and that is on the long-term plan.
And will customers receive outage notices if it's out in their area?
Not at this time. They will not receive an outage notice. We are working on that as well, and that's also on our list. The software that we purchased does not have an outage management solution as a module, but yes, it is on our list.
As you know, no one's happy when their internet goes out.
That is correct. Now, I will say, in the few times that has occurred with some of our test customers, they're getting a pathway to us very quickly. I was downstairs this morning where Clarence, one of our call center reps, was on the phone with somebody who had a question about their internet service. And we were very quickly be able to help them either in our fiber call center or our network operations center. We have a 24-hour tech support line as well. So this is the date of home installation, and we're a little bit different. We don't give you a window of time. We give you an exact date and an exact time that we expect to be at your home. That has been very well received. And then once we get there, that home installation technician really starts a collaboration process with the homeowner, where they figure out where are we going to install your device, talk to the homeowner about any specialty needs at their home or business to place their device. So I brought the device with me today. This is it. It's a 5x5 piece of equipment. It has several ports on the back. And we'll work with the homeowner to figure out where they want to install that. Is it in a closet? Is it on a shelf, on an end table, or just mounted to the wall? It does have mounting brackets on the back. The green port is where the fiber comes from outside the household into the household, and then based whether they choose our Smart Gig at Home or provide their own Wi-Fi network and their own equipment, that would also plug into this device. So before they leave the home, they're going to make sure that they get the speed in which they subscribe. They're getting that or more within the household. They're getting connectivity to any device that they want connected within the household. And then they're also giving them a welcome packet. And that packet has some handouts of frequently asked questions, how you get a hold of us, how you register onto your portals, whether that's the Smart Gig portal, a phone portal, or their account portal to manage their KUB Fiber account. So I told you that we had received a lot of feedback, and I'm happy to say that 92% of our test customers responded that they are satisfied with KUB's both installation service and the fiber services that we're receiving. I can tell you we're working hard every day to make sure that we improve from 92 and get towards the 100% mark. What you don't see are pieces of the pie chart for dissatisfied customers. We receive 0 responses in the dissatisfied category. That's pretty good for, as Mr. Davis says, we're crawling right now. Very proud of our team, both the technical teams, the customer service teams, and our billing teams for making that possible. We've also solicited for some comments from our customers. Many of them are very positive, but there's also several helpful comments that we've been able to adjust our process with. Many comment on the fast service. It's very different than their current provider is giving them or their former provider is giving them. But there's also some helpful comments in there about making sure that we have the right tools when we do the installation process. A few of them have interacted with what I like to call our Geek Squad, the really smart people in tech support who help them with their devices and make sure that connectivity is a smooth process as well.
Some of it is, like Gabe was telling me, drywall doesn't cut like plaster.
Yes,
So you have to have
exactly.
you have to have a different
making
blade.
sure we have specialty tools. I mean, we're in a lot of historic home areas right now, and making sure that we're sensitive to that and having the right tools to do the job. So, really, when we talk about guidepost in the fiber division a whole lot, and making sure that what we're doing is in alignment with that guidepost, and it is to provide the fastest technology with very friendly customer service and to anyone who seeks it within our service area. That is different. We're making sure that is available to everyone and treating everyone with that same friendly customer service and that exceptional technology. The centerpiece of our product offering is the gig. It's that 1 gigabit symmetrical residential service. That's what we're focused on right now. I can tell you we also have business products that we are launching as well, and they are priced a bit higher, but they also have a little bit extra care and a little bit different priority on the system. But we do have one business customer, the Timeout Deli, is connected to our service as of this week. And so that was an exciting accomplishment for the team as well. And I'm happy to answer any more questions that you might have.
I have just 2 quick questions. One is, I think another thing that really sets you apart is your appointment strategy of giving you a time versus a window. There's nothing worse than, having a cable provider without naming names, but they say we'll be there 12 to 4, and they show up at 3:58.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's a huge selling point. Earlier, you were talking about the bundle. You had a bundle slide that had Disney Plus and a few others on there. And actually, going back one more, I think. So over there to the left, the streaming content directly from providers. I assume that's not the YouTube, Disney, HBO. That's not all. I mean, they can access Hulu, they can access Prime, and so it's really available. All the platforms are coming into
Yeah,
the
so
fight.
my bundle is helping them make that decision.
Right.
And then we're a partner with them, and then through that partnership, they also are conveying KUB TV as some of the comparable options for them.
Gotcha. Okay. And great job, by the way, great job. You know, for all of you, this is not an easy business to get into, to manage and to navigate some of the unique idiosyncrasies of the cable business, both cable television and cable broadband. So
I will pass that along to our teams. We were taking a marker of how many employees we had at the end of the fiscal year, and it was 46. We've added a few since then, but they are a very hardworking and mighty team.
Well, I just like to say, echo Ron's comments. Congratulations, it's great. And I would also say that I'm so glad Ron's here to have some expertise in this area.
I had a lot more hair before I started dealing with this stuff. So.
Very good.
One last thing I want to finish up today. You know, I always say often how valuable our employees are and how good they are and what they do. And we were recognized recently again for that. The American Public Gas Association just gave out their annual awards at a conference, and you'll see the picture on the screen. We were given 3 awards. This recognizes a lot of our efforts on our operational and environmental sustainability. So you'll see the picture of Brooke Sinclair, our Director of Engineering, and Jocelyn McInturf to her left is our Manager of Gas Systems. Represented us at the annual conference. We received an award for Public Gas System Achievement Award. We also received the inaugural award, the first ever award for environmental stewardship and sustainability. And then we also got the 2021 Safety Award. So that encompasses a lot of our culture, our values, what we do in 3 awards there. And so they also honored Jocelyn for her role on the Operations and Safety Committee. She was a key part of that, and we were very, very active in those roles. And so I just want to say, once again, we were very active, we were very intentional. We have a lot of people that are just brilliantly smart and work really hard every day to make sure we have a very safe gas system, and we were recognized nationally for that. So congratulations to those folks and the gas division folks that work in that area. So
absolutely, congratulations. Please express our thanks to the teams. Commissioner Herbert, would you like to make a nominating committee report?
I was almost forgetting that I was on today. The nominating committee met today to begin this year's process for nominating candidates for the commissioner term that begins January the 1st. This will be for a new commissioner to replace Chair Askew. I'm not sure that replace is the right word because I told him earlier today he was irreplaceable. But his term is unfortunately expiring. The application is available on our website at www.kub.org or by calling KUB. The deadline for submitting applications is 12 p.m. on Thursday, September the 8th. And the city charter for the city of Knoxville requires that 5 or more candidates be nominated at the October meeting for transmittal to the mayor for final selection and confirmation by city council. So we are going to be in the thick of it here in the next month and encourage folks to apply.
And I would encourage all of us to be thinking of people who we would like to, that we think would be really good. And put the rush on them. It's better for the mayor to have a good wide slate. So, are there, just in time, okay. Well, we have one person who would like to address us, and we're pleased to welcome back our friend, former Commissioner Sarah Pennell. And so, Commissioner, please. I almost said old friend. I have changed my verbiage on that. Friend of long standing.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. Well, I have about 1 million questions for you all for that presentation, but I can't ask them. But I do have 2 comments. One of them is about the fiber. It's so fantastic. It's amazing. Could you charge $64 and a penny and do opt-out, round it up, and get your funding for your stuff, or 65 and a penny?
I like that.
The second is about the teamwork program, and when I was a commissioner, I was always wanted to take the stuff you developed here and replicate it all over town in every company, and the teamwork is one of them. It's just so fabulous. It's so great. But I'm here to talk about something serious, of course, because I always talk about everything that's serious. So I'm bringing forward kind of a serious matter to you all today. And I've written it down to keep my time correct. But during my time here, I was continuously impressed with the dedication to excellence and pride that was demonstrated by all employees. And to this day, I say that. I appreciated the specific initiatives at team building within KUB and the KUB-sponsored volunteer opportunities that gave employees the availability to interact with the public that they serve. And I think that's important with a big organization in particular, because KUB, because it's so big, becomes a thing, and not your personhood is kind of lost sometimes. And so these opportunities, I think, are really important. And I'm so glad that you support it. So I'm here today to talk about, really celebrate a few of your KUB employees who have taken the initiative to be a part of our local architect and engineer community. So for over 20 years, our local AIA chapter has held a volleyball league made up of teams within the design-build profession. And you have heard of most of these people, if not all the participants. There's McCarty, Holsapple McCarty, BMA, DIA, Cannon & Cannon has 2 teams, actually. Haynes Structural Group, Smee Busby, and even my small office has a team. Every team has the privilege to name themselves, and most have team t-shirts to reinforce their involvement in the league. I've provided a handout, which I can give to somebody, about just kind of about the league. The team names, so you don't have to use your imagination. Some of them are very creative. One team has been making a name for themselves, and this team is the KUB Cleanouts. And that's why I'm here today. I want to tell you about this team, which began through Cannon & Cannon in 2014 and became formal in 2018 when they had enough players. They finished this year in 2nd place, and it was a close game. Now, about the players, Matthew Stinnett and Noah Newport led the team as co-captains to 2nd place in the regular season with a record of 27 wins and 3 losses. That's a pretty good record. Christian Wilbury has one of the best spikes in the league. Kurt Stafford has great defensive net play and had over 30 dinks over the net. No, those are really strategic movements. Britt Elmore should have been a professional libero, so that's a back row defensive player, in case you don't know, instead of head engineer or engineer. Darren Hahn excels on the serving line, putting some wicked spin on his serves. So before each game, Eric Bowen at Johnson Architecture puts on his Swami hat, and he calls himself the Swami, and he predicts the outcomes of games. And I'm going to read one to you, and I've printed out some others just for your reading pleasure. This is the DIA D squad versus the KUB Cleanouts. So this is the prediction. The Ds started the season with a less than stellar 0 for 2. Ugh. Grade? Well, D, naturally. Probably should have been an F, but the F squad doesn't really have a ring to it. Remember, family atmosphere. On the other hand, there's no effing the Cleanouts. 13-2 to start is crisp, like a clean hit off the heel of the hand. Swami says, bankers like sure things. Here's one of them. KUB's 3, squad 0. So, you know, we lost to the KUB team in the season, and I don't like to lose. And particularly when I was a commissioner, I thought surely they're gonna let us win, but they didn't. So the Cleanouts did not ask me to speak today, but during the season, it was really nice to put faces to people that worked here, and I know that they work with a lot of the guys that they played with in this league. It's a really great way to interact with our profession. And so I just have a simple request. You may not be able to do it, but I would love to see team t-shirts on these guys. And again, this this is not a serious matter, but I love seeing the team out there, and it is a great league. And I do have to show you. Oh, I have 1 second. Or you just stop it?
Yeah. It's a long second.
This is my team. We're the meat sandwiches, the headstrom bullies. That's what I did, but everybody has just really fun names. It's a fun event, and they started on Cannon and Cannon. Cannon and Cannon has 2 teams, and Cannon and Cannon won this year and last year. But you know, you got a good team. You got a good team inside and outside. So it's good to be here. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
And I hope to see those T-shirts next year.
Welcome. All right. Just want to remind everyone, following the adjournment of this meeting, the board will have lunch across the hall, and that session is open to the public to observe. Hearing no objections, this meeting is adjourned.
You gotta get to a meeting, you're not.